G'day folks, welcome back to this playthrough of the Jaws of Victory. This is the first scenario focusing on the eastern half of this attempted Soviet breakthrough. I am up to the reserve movement phase and I'm about to unlock these reserve units. And I've just been double checking the movement rules, and one thing to keep in mind is these disorganized units. So the impact of being disorganized includes that they only exert a zone of influence, not a zone of control. And that's very important because zones of control basically halt movement. You can't move ZOC to ZOC. Well, Soviet infantry can't move ZOC to ZOC, but they can move zone of influence to zone of influence, which means that an infantry unit coming down this road can move from this zone of influence to this zone of influence. They will pay some additional costs, enemy ZOC and zone of influence cost to enter exit +1, you can see for non-mechanized units. So they'll pay an additional movement cost, but they can keep moving, and that's a very important consideration. I was worried about how I'd be able to weave through this gap here, but yeah, I'm confident enough to read those rules that it can be done. Disorganize. This road here, this secondary road is going to be very important. Despite the blown bridges, we are crossing a stream. A stream is just going to add some additional movement costs to those mechanized, motorized, armored units, but yeah, they'll be able to keep going. So, getting ready to release these reserves. In doing so, I'm mindful that, it's pretty clear, these units cannot activate until turn 2 or turn 3, so they're locked in. A lot of the units down the bottom there are locked in as well. So we're really looking at this group in here of 5th Guard tanks, and some elements of the 53rd and some 4th Guards. These are all detailed in the scenario-specific instructions. So I am going to start, I think, up here with engineers because I have a plan for these guys. Oh, actually, I've just realised. Okay, so I had a plan for them, and I've just remembered that during reserve movement, units have a -1 movement. So I had plans to move 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up 1, 5 because they can't cross this river unless they use all their movement. But they've got -1 movement, which would only give them 4, I think. It cancels that plan. So instead, look, I'm just going to release them from reserve and go 1, 2, and they'll work to repair that rail bridge there to open that road up. Yeah, fairly simple move. You keep the reserve marker if they end their movement adjacent to enemy units. That's not the case there. And then they'll commence that road repair in the engineering phase. So in looking ahead, you can see this destroyed bridge here. Bridge repair is fairly straightforward. Bridge is over stream, so this is a stream. So yeah, this damaged, destroyed bridge over the stream will be automatically repaired as long as there's a Soviet division adjacent to it. So this Soviet infantry division here will automatically repair that. These guys will automatically repair that. Okay, so they're covered, which makes me wonder what I do with these engineers. Should I drive them forward and prepare? There's also a blown bridge here that they could repair. Not as important, but it's a bridge. Do I have more engineers behind the lines here? So I could just bring these guys up to the front and yeah, get them to help out in the front, I guess. I don't know. What else do I do with my engineers? Are these engineers here? So these guys could go. Okay, so I move those guys up. Where'd they come from? Movement trail. So they moved from there. They had an engineer marker. Instead, I'll go with these guys. 1, 2, 3. Now I've got engineers adjacent to both of those bridges. So from just being in this one hex, they can repair both of those, which frees up this engineer unit to do something else once I can get a handle of them and remove their movement trail. So these guys now can go delete that, 1, 2, 3, 4. Gets them a little bit closer to the front. Okay, slow and steady movement here. That'll be repaired. That'll be repaired. That's there's enemy forces on the side, and I'm not going to worry about anything further south. So I think my plan is just to get the engineers to drive through the front. So now I need to think about pushing, driving through, and exploiting this gap. Okay, so 14. Here we go. The spear point of this drive. 14 movement points. -2 because it's reserve movement gives them 12. Okay, let's pay close attention to the terrain effects chart as we move through this town 1, and we're following this secondary road, not using strategic movement, just tactical movement. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it would be, and I've got to cross a stream here, 4, 5, 6, 7, because they're armor. Then 8, 9 to enter the zone of control, and then 10. Now it's just complicated. Let me pause it here. 9. What I'm really uncertain about here is basically you have to pay the +1 to exit as Zoe and +2 to enter this Zoe. Is it cumulative? Is it cumulative, or do you just pay the most? So it'd be, +2 to enter here, +1 to leave here. It'd be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, they can't do it basically if it's cumulative. So do we have to stop there is what I'm wondering. And I just don't know. Okay, I'm going to, I've read it carefully. I'm going to rule that it is cumulative. So yeah, these disorganized units, they don't prevent me moving from here to here, but they do impose quite substantial costs on me doing so, which is really going to slow me down. So the next unit goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, crossing the stream, 6, 7, entering a Zoe, 7, 8, 9. Can't move any further. Yeah, they're done. They've got to stop there. Which is kind of, frustrating. And I need to think about the stacking of these units as well. Yeah, just double checking the Soviet rules for stacking. Only 2 Soviet brigades allowed in a hex, so that's maximum there. There's 3 units there, so that's maximum stacking. So I'm kind of running into some issues here. That's a stream, so I might be able to get. I've got an infantry division. I'm only allowed 1 division, and I'm allowed 2 brigades. So I can bring in another brigade. I'm fairly sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to come in there. I'm pretty sure that's allowed. Yeah. Oh, okay. But hold on. Now I've got a tank core stacked with units of another core, which is not allowed. Wow. Okay. So I really can't do a lot. Yeah. That's about as far as I can go, which is really frustrating. I was hoping to be able to get a little bit further. So what are my options now to stack up these units? They might be a bit. I wonder if they're a bit freer. Okay, so these are motorized. They pay a higher cost to cross a stream and the same cost. So yeah, they'll be limited as well. Frustrating. We're gonna go infantry brigade, motorized brigade, and then I think Yeah, I think they can stack together like that, and they come over here, and they'll come up the rear like so. Hello, reconnaissance unit with a bit more movement. 14. Okay, so I mean, I don't want to throw them out. They'll be vulnerable with only a strength of 2. So let's just keep them there, and then I'll bring my artillery. So you notice they don't have the I'll move them up. And we'll bring them up to here. Not a lot of movement. And wow, these guys are going to be even more hemmed in. Because if that formation couldn't get through, these guys won't be able to either. Oh, wow, okay, engineers. What do we want to do here? 50, where do we want to go? One. Yeah, we'll just move them up here like that. That's all we can do, pretty much. 1, 2, maybe down the south here. 1, 2, 3. Sure, why not? There's not a lot they can do. There's just no room. I've got divisions everywhere. Yeah, wow. Alright, we'll move them up, I guess. And then this poor formation is just going to nudge in here a little bit. That's about all they can do. Cross that river. And I don't even have room for all these units. So, yeah, okay. Can just leave some of these exactly where they are. I'll move them up here, I guess. Alright, so reserve movement, a bit disappointing. I really expected, I thought I'd be able to push through here, capture Kapitanovka, but yeah, it didn't happen. And I'm kind of just stuck there with this opening in front of me. And I made the mistake of removing those reserve markers from units that ended adjacent to the enemies. So I need to find my markers. Where on earth would Soviet specific General Soviet Reserve? Right, so these guys ended up adjacent to the enemy. I think they're the only ones that did. Oh, there were some guys down here who aren't attacking. So this gives them the opportunity to... look, let me just... let me... What am I thinking here? Am I leading with these units? Yeah, I guess I am. Alright, so basically I can now go to the reserve combat segment, and units stacked with that reserve marker can attack adjacent units. 12.1.6 reserve combat. I have to expend my SP. No Soviet division bonus, no air, no artillery, no assault engineers, just combat odds from combined arms, which I'll get. Arm superiority. Yeah, okay, so let's try that. Let's try and attack this formation here. And we'll see if we can just nudge them out of the way a little more. They are disorganized. Well, there is some impressive armor there, but we're going to give it a go. So I've got a strength of 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 on... so disorganized, their combat strengths are halved. So they are down to 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow. Yeah, okay. Just double checking. Oh, they're on a hill. Okay. We will supply this. So this is... where are their supplies coming from? Over here. decrease that. So we're providing supply to this combat. Okay, so none of the usual bonuses for combat. It's supported no air, no artillery is allowed, no assault, combat articulation. We're looking at CRT base of 5-1, and there is armor involved. It is supported. Terrain. Okay, so I think this is where they're on a hill. Hilltop, other terrain, hilltop combat shift. That's the only thing that happens, is a hilltop combat shift. Yep. So it goes 1 to the left for the hilltop. Then we get the combined arms shift 1 to the right. Where are we looking here? The Germans also get their, maybe they can't get combined arms shift if they're, I think that's, yes, they can't get combined arms because they're disorganized. Armor superiority. So the Germans have got 4 dots. Is that impacted by disorganization? Doesn't say they do. A couple of other related penalties, but yeah, their dots are still counted. Okay, so they get 4 white dots to the Soviets' 4 white dots. Okay, so it's a draw, so there are no armor shifts. So we are looking at, I believe, 5-1. Yeah, all right. And we are likely to see some armor damage. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so 4 dots each, and that is fewer than the dots. Actually, there's more than that. There are a few black dots as well. So both sides will suffer an armor step loss. They're full strength. They're cadre, so they're wiped out. Yeah, they're wiped out. They're eliminated. These guys will suffer a step loss. Okay, and then we have a result of 7 on the 5-1, which is a 1-1R result. So both sides lose 1. Oh, they're down to cadre. Flip them, and they have to retreat 1 hex. They'll pull back into there, and they will advance. I don't know if that really helped, because now they're just occupying Kapitanovka, which is standing even further in my way. No other reserve combat. You can just see all these units bunched up together. So a bit frustrating for the Soviets. They wanted a lot more. Okay, so now we can repair bridges, and as I said, the bridges adjacent to the streams here. It's going to be really hard to grab that marker. How do I do that? If I move them out of the way, Alt. What's this say? Alt key. There we go. Let's delete that. It should be automatically repaired. This one down here, Alt key. Let's delete that. All right, it's a bridge on a stream in the engineering phase. Yeah, automatically repaired. And just going to double check that. Streams destroy bridges automatically repaired as long as there's a Soviet division adjacent to the bridge hex side. Yep. So, you must control both hexes, so you can't. This one doesn't count. Yep, that's occupied. Hard to see with all these move markers. Let me get rid of the move markers. What have we got under here? No, nothing there. So these two here. So this is a river bridge. So an in-supply engineer unit can expend 1 SP. So blue going to go down 1, 2. To repair, place a bridge repair marker next to the bridge hex side. Soviet bridge repair marker. Where would they be? Tracking. No. General marker perhaps. Bridge repair. Bridge. Oh, that's bridge construction. Surely this is going to be it. So if I flip this over, yeah. So that's nope, other way. Yeah, sort of roughly. Okay, then when I want to duplicate this, clone it, and put another one up there. Just pointing to the 2 bridges. So both of those bridges are being repaired. During the following engineering phase, we roll a die on a 1 to 5. It's repaired on a 6. It's delayed. It doesn't say, must be adjacent use of, yeah, it doesn't, I mean, engineers, doesn't say there's a limit on how many, like that one engineering battalion can repair 2 bridges, I'm pretty sure. Doesn't say they can't. Yeah, pretty much. In supply, engineering unit must be adjacent. Use the following procedure. Spend supplies. Place a bridge repair marker. Yeah, so I think I've done that correctly. And they're the bridges I am repairing. Nothing else being repaired. Which brings us to the end of the engineering phase. And disorganization. Soviet player removes all regroup markers. There are no regroup markers. The German player flips all their disorganized markers to their regroup side. Okay, so yep, regroup, 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 and down here, regroup. All right. And I'm sure there was one more that I think these guys should have had a regroup marker on them as well. I think. Not to worry. If I've missed it, I've missed it. Now, both players remove their no fire 1 markers and then flip no fire 2 markers. Now, I double check all this artillery that I moved. None of them had no fire markers. I'm pretty sure they were all sort of motorized, mechanized, quick to set up, so nothing to worry about there. Which brings me to the end of the Soviet play turn. So this was just finishing off that Soviet turn from earlier. About to head into the German play turn, but I'll wrap this up now just so it's sort of contained as a Soviet player turn video. So that's the end. This is a Soviet attempted breakthrough. Bit of a failure. Yeah, this is frustrating. German's going to be limited, half movement, but they can vary. They can just block me, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be frustrating to punch through. I'm going to have to try and punch through again. So, yeah, would have liked if I could just clear that unit out a little bit further. I could have weaved my way through here. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye for now.